Nou, je krijgt niet een sense of scale nie. So jy nat geword.
Jy kan nie KTM mee op kom op te gaan fucking lekker wees.
Te kry, jy weet.
Hello and welcome to the channel. We continue from part 1 where Christo bought himself some land and the Goose's TTR met an early retirement. For those of you that haven't watched part 1, I strongly suggest you go back and get caught up before continuing with this video. Now with Goose riding in the support vehicle, we only have 3 bikes remaining on the journey. So the camera equipment gets redistributed among the remaining riders.
Jy moet daai default verander.
And I seem to have won myself the 360 view GoPro.
Ja, is hy nou reg?
Hy's reg en hy's aan.
This bad boy doesn't miss anything.
We gaan die girls nou ry.
Ja,
Nice.
die manne gaan ry en die girls gaan ry. Ons gaan nie saam ry nie.
The scruffy KTM is starting to concern me as even I'm struggling to get it started. So Christo, Shawnee and myself are going to try and take the 3 remaining bikes all the way to the river, if all goes well. The scruffy KTM's back caliper is starting to act up a little bit, and the clutch is also becoming really difficult to operate. But it's hard worrying about the bike when you've got a view like this to look at.
Dis mooi, né?
Ja.
Jo.
Hy valley is daarso.
I think we're going to have our hands full with this section on the return trip. Very, very loose rock, and it's steeper than it looks. Not having a helmet, Sean's taking it easy.
Jy nou wel uit? Dis baie fucking bumpy. Ja.
We have regular regrouping stops in order to keep everyone together.
Dit is meneer man.
You really start to appreciate kickstands once you have a bike that does not have one.
Hey. Ja, jou hare lyk fyn. Staan so.
Jy lyk soos 'n Dragon Ball Z karakter.
Ek dink jy is baie meer verder nie.
Nee.
Hy is so eentjie nog. Ah.
Ja.
Hè?
We start to notice a large convoy of 4x4s lagging some distance behind us. Now we don't really want to get in their way.
Don't look at me.
Shawnee taking a pit stop. Everyone stretch their legs.
Dis klein wortelmoene. Skoon.
My hande voel soos jelly.
Wil julle 'n biertjie? Of gaan ons is ons naby?
Ek dink ons is naby hoor.
Naby is nou net
Ja.
naby hy huis is nou hy afdrand liefie.
Ja, ek weet daar agter ons 'n bietjie.
Kom nou.
The Goose,
Hello,
still
banana.
depressed about her bike, coming in for a reassuring cuddle.
Sal maar weer met kom doen.
Ja.
'n Vars bike.
Jy moet maak.
Is jou
Was hy behind you or?
Hy maak snaakse geluide, maar
maak 'n snaakse geluid.
wat? Nee, is fyn, ek ry hom tot hy breek.
This bike's just getting harder and harder to start. Go Shawnee, go. Let's get there. We don't have all day, especially now with the 4x4s hot on our trail. Drainage ditches on the road make for some light entertainment. We can't be sure if anybody still lives here, but we try and keep things respectful as we pass. So according to our guide Shawnee, there's quite a formidable downhill after the house, and we'll be getting there shortly. With the scruffy KTM's rear brake almost non-existent, I'm having to navigate these loose rocks on the downhill quite carefully, with a careful combination of back compression off a 2-stroke engine and the use of my front brakes. You can see even Chris is taking it slow and careful. I cheer him up with my misty smoke machine. Right before arriving at the pièce de résistance of today's adventure and a mandatory photo stop at this stunning location.
Maar ja, je krijgt niet een sense of scale nie.
Ja, jy gaan huis toe in die koerant.
Lyk amper op 'n grot dan. Nee, lyk asof 'n bosbewoner is. Nee, daai. Okay daar.
And there it is, the golden selfie to invoke jealousy from everybody on your Facebook friends list. With Shawnee opting to take the non-4x4 Isuzu down this precarious descent, the goose kindly steps up and offers to take the blaster down to the river. This little quad gets treated like the ugly duckling of the group, but it hasn't skipped a beat so far. And being even older than the KTM, it's pretty impressive. The goose is understandably taking it down very cautiously. She's not used to riding quads. One wrong move might see you go over that edge. From there it's a very, very steep, very, very long way down. The road levels out slightly and we can finally see our destination far down below. The goose wrestling with the bouncy blaster as she descends over the loose rocks. At this point I've opted to kill the engine of the KTM, freewheel down all the way to the river. The heavy smoking is not so heavy anymore, which means one of two things. Either the engine has miraculously fixed itself, or there's no more oil left to burn. So I'm saving every last bit for the return trip. The road opens up and there it is, the Grootrivierpoort river. Can't wait to get wet. It's been a hot day. Now, if I was a man that handed out free advice, I wouldn't recommend riding blindly through a river that you haven't checked yet. But at this point I'm getting so hot, even the worst case sounds pretty good to me. The goose reluctantly follows suit. Followed by Christu, who at this point is still trying to keep his boots dry. Shawnee takes the rest of the crew through slowly and carefully. All our braai equipment's in there. Can't be risking that. Not satisfied that we've cooled down adequately, we take another couple of laps through the water. This time a little bit more enthusiastically. Christo's Raptor works like a scoop. Finishes it off with the donut around about the same time as I lose my footing.
Oh! Jeez, bitch!
The chaos confuses the goose.
What the
With confidence at an all-time high, the goose sends it. And then returns to the river in a hurry to take a video of me with my last crossing. With the convoy of 4x4s hot on our trail, we decide to grab the best fry area, get the fire lit, and get our boots and gear out in the sun to dry out for our return trip.
Hello, slave. Nee, hij niet die.
Hey Pan.
Hi, Pan.
So jy nat geword.
Navi?
Ja.
Jy kan die KTM mee opvat. Ek dink om op te gaan lekker wees.
Ek sê raak dit vas. Ja.
Ah nee, hy skrik.
Maar Liefie, jy gaan jy hom kan vat met jou Wat nou?
Braai daar heel voor.
Everything's soaked in petrol, but that doesn't stop us from having a lekker braai. The 4x4 convoy came soon after. We could see the envy in their eyes as they ate their packed lunches while we had our meat on the fire. They were also somewhat in disbelief at the fact that the Isuzu made it all the way down, and a bunch of dirt bikes all the way from Potensi to the river, and hopefully back to Potensi.
I like it.
Great.
Cool.
It's getting late and we really need to start heading back, as the new danger is not the bikes dying, but the fact that we can't ride at night.
Yes.
And I'm still in doubt whether the scrappy KTM is going to make it. But it gives me a glimmer of hope as it starts relatively easily.
Luister gou, die gearbox is 'n bietjie kak, so wanneer jy hom die eerste insit, maak seker jy rem hom al. Verstaan jy, ons trek hy net.
2 seconds later.
Come on, Scruffy, you can do it. The clutch has gotten so bad that if you're not revved up when you select first, it just stalls. It's my job to get the blaster up this hill. Now T is convinced that the little quad can't make it up here. Today is the day that I prove her wrong. I'm getting a feel for the little quad as we go up the loose rocks, and I'm slowly realizing that this little machine has got a lot of heart. I see Goose some distance in front of me taking the KTM up, and I almost immediately catch up to her. You can see how she's battling the loose rocks on this uphill, showing you how steep this incline really is. So the Goose is under strict instructions not to slow down and not to stop whatsoever on this uphill. As most of you know that if you stop on a really steep uphill, it's really difficult to get going again. So she's doing her best to pin it, keep the momentum up, so she can get to the top without any problems. But as you can see, there's some gnarly rocky sections on this uphill. It's really super difficult to keep the momentum up and not get bogged down by all these rocks. See the blaster just bouncing around. The Goose is doing a really good job keeping the KTM pointed forward. You can see that back wheel's all over the show over these loose rocks. Watch that back wheel slide out on this uphill, just showing you exactly how steep it really is. Look at that. What's playing on my mind is if that back wheel jumps to the right, then she's essentially pointing that KTM off the side of the cliff as she demonstrates. That's a little too close for comfort. And with my heart beating in my throat, we continue onwards and upwards. Fortunately, the Goose is learning quickly how to deal with these little speed wobbles. The road evens out a little and we're back at our token photo stop. But I signal to the Goose to keep going as we don't really have the time to linger anymore. We need to get home. So she puts her weight on the pegs and navigates the two-stroke through this precarious section. catches a huge speed wobble and we stop for the first time since starting our ascent.
Yo! Hoe f***ing lekker was dit, hè?
Verstaan jy hoe moeg ek raak jy?
Come on KTM, don't let me down. The goose is also getting the hang of pulling away successfully.
Baie reg.
And then completely out of left field, the blaster refuses to start. How in the world are we going to load this thing? Never mind, false alarm. Out of frustration for my own stupidity and a goose to catch up to, I decide to up the pace a little. Now, I'm no fan of any quad, but I'm really starting to get a liking in this little machine. And it definitely shows. With my heavy weight forcing every inch of the quad suspension, it can't really bounce me around like it does everybody else. And I'm gaining confidence and getting the hang of how to handle this thing over rough terrain. Goose is waiting some distance up ahead and the rest of the gang are trailing behind. The one thing that I find a little bit more difficult about quads than normal bikes is you've always got two tracks to worry about. You've essentially got double the amount of path that you need to work out for yourself. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but it takes more concentration. A very rare first time kick. We're steadily running out of daylight. You can see the shadows are getting long in front of the bikes. With the prospect of having to ride some of this journey in the dark is getting more and more likely. I get to the next gate and once again we regroup. Time to have a serious talk with the gang about picking up the pace. We really need to get back to Potensi before nightfall. And here comes the goose, and you can see her battling a steadily declining KTM. No rear brakes, bad clutch, and you can't get the bike in neutral while the engine's running. At this point, every kick is a tense moment. Unsure if this bike's going to start up again or not. And once again, to everybody's relief, the scruffy KTM springs to life again. After a quick discussion, we're all in agreement that we need to pick up the pace. But will we make Potensi before nightfall? Will the scruffy KTM hold up and make it all the way back? Will Christo be able to pick up the pace with that monster Raptor without buying some more land? To find out, like and subscribe and join us for part 3. Cheers.